everyone, welcome to a new video on the Eldenwood Craft YouTube channel. My name's Emma and this is where I share progress on the things that I've been making since I last recorded a video. Today is Saturday the 26th of February. I'm back up in the studio, which is where we will stay, I think, going forwards. Show notes and all the information about what I've been talking about will be in the description box below, very basic ones. And over on my website there will be more chatty show notes with links and everything like that. More of a blog post type thing, I suppose. All the details of where you can find me, including my website, are also in the description box underneath this video. If there's something that you want to know that isn't in the description box or the show notes, then let me know. You can leave a comment, you can contact me by email, you can leave a comment on my website, you know, all the usual ways that you get in touch with people. Thank you very much for your comments on the last video. I haven't quite got round to replying to them all, but I have read them. However, I suspect this video will be published on Monday morning. So I will... what am I saying? No, so what I'm saying is I'm going to spend some time this weekend replying to the comments. So this video is going to be published on Monday morning. So by the time you see this, I will have replied. So anyway, let's get on. Today I've got a finished object to share with you. I've got a couple of other things that I worked on in the last couple of weeks. I've got my plans for the next couple of weeks. I've got a book that I finished. And I've got a little bit of shop news to share with you. So let's get on with it. Right, the first thing to share with you is my Felix sweater, the one with the yarn issues. Thank you ever so much to all of you who helped me with my yarn chicken issue. As it turns out, I did need that extra ball. Maggie, thank you. You were first off the mark with your help, and I indeed got a ball of the Let Lopi from Bee Inspired Fibres in Edinburgh, so another supplier of Let Lopi in the UK. So thank you very much. I wouldn't have been able to finish without it. Although I didn't need that much of it, as I will show you. Anyway, so I have finished my Felix sweater. This is a pattern by Amy Christophers. I got it on Ravelry. I have looked to see if it is anywhere else, but I can't find it anywhere else. The yarn that I have used... Have I got my... I haven't got the ball bands with me, but it was this Let Lopi. I'll put the details in the show notes of what it is exactly, but it's an Aran weight yarn. It's Let Lopi. It's colour 0086. I'm not sure there's any more left in the UK. I looked high and low and that one skein from Bee Inspired Fibres was the only one that I could find. It's a beautiful oatmeal-y colour, and I'm really happy with it. I knit a size 3 and I needed 370 grams of yarn. I bought 350 grams, so I just needed that extra 20 grams. So let me stand up and show you first of all, and then I'll talk you through. So here it is. I had got to... I left this on. I'd got to this Progress Keeper last time, so I knit that. And I had another arm, or half an arm to knit, half a sleeve to knit. So that's what I knit in the last couple of weeks. My ball of yarn ran out where I had that much ribbing left to go. A little bit annoying, but there we go. It's a beautiful pattern. I started off, I think the pattern... It's a paid for pattern, so I can't give too much away, but I don't think the pattern calls for any specific cast on. So I did the the long tail tubular cast on, and I used a really helpful tutorial from Isolde Teague. There's a video on her website, I will link to it if I remember. It's created a tight, I mean it's not tight, but it's a closer neckline than my other Felix. My other Felix has got quite a wide boat neck neckband. I think I prefer this. The cast on is really stretchy, so it's worth considering excuse me, for a neckband. I did 1x1 twisted rib and then into the pattern. The Felix sweater, sorry I'm looking at the camera, the Felix sweater is I suppose sort of famous for its very distinctive raglan increases. I'll just show you close up. You can see it has this pattern. I've got a vest on underneath. I'm not quite sure I'm that keen on having those bits of skin peeping through, so it might be a t-shirt that is needed to be worn underneath it. Anyway, yeah, so raglan increases. I think I'm quite tempted to make another one, I have to say, and I think I could do with making the yoke a little bit shorter. There's a bit of leeway if I made it a bit shorter, made my arms a little bit less fabric. I might try that, so I might go down to a size 2, or I might stay with a size 3 and just knit a bit less around here. The pattern calls for short rows at the back. The pattern says to do wrap and turn. I switched those out for German short rows. I much prefer those. I didn't do a gauge swatch, but I bang on gauge. I measured it. I measured my gauge after I blocked it, and it's as stated in the pattern, which is quite good. The yarn, Let Low P, I'm sure most of you know about Let Low P, and that it's quite a rustic yarn. I am wearing this, as I said, with a vest. The vest comes down to there. I can feel a tiny little prickle up here. I feel nothing on my sleeve, on my arms. Normally my other Felix I always wore with a long sleeved t-shirt underneath, but actually I don't think I need to. It's true what people say, that the yarn softens as it warms up and becomes less scratchy. So yeah, I'd say if you've not tried knitting with Let Low P and are interested, it's definitely worth giving it a go. Just looking at it on camera, I love this yarn, this colour of yarn so much. That's what I had left over from my original 350 grams. I weighed this, it's 13 grams, so it was 7 grams short of where the sweater finished. So I could have got away with not needing this, I suppose, but it would have meant my body was shorter, and I like the length of the body. So next time I make it, I think I'll get that extra ball. Might not need it though. Anyway, to be continued, my Felix adventures. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. I'm going to wear this out today. First time wearing it. Very happy with it. Okay, the next thing that I've been working on is here. I said in my last video that I had bought a new pattern. I had bought the Olay mittens by Suzanne Muller, and I was quite keen to cast those on. Cast them on I did, and I have finished one of the mittens. I will put it on in a minute, but just to show you, it's not been blocked. This is a pattern that is knit in, now I think I said half fisherman's rib last time. It's actually half brioche. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what the difference between brioche, half brioche and half fisherman's rib is. If anyone can explain it simply, I'd be really interested to know. So as I said, pattern by Suzanne Muller. She is known as Paula Strict on Instagram, and I think that's also the name of her Ravelry shop. She sells this pattern on Ravelry and on Etsy. The yarn that I used, have I got the warband, is this. So it's Regina by Adria Phil. And it's a DK weight yarn, 100% virgin wool, colour 082, and I'm just looking to see if it says how much you get. Yeah, 125 metres to 50 grams. There's my next ball. It's a bit messy. I was given some of my mother-in-law's yarn that she no longer needed, and it's been sat in my stash for quite a long time, and I've taken it out and I've played about with it and was really just trying to find the right project for it, and these mittens are perfect for it. Let me just do the stretch thing to show you how lovely and stretchy they are. The pattern I think comes in 3 sizes, small, medium and large. These are the medium. You cast on, you do a half brioche, or you do some brioche here, and then you change the stitch slightly for the rest of the mitten. You do a bit of fancy stuff around the thumb gusset, and I love that thumb gusset so much. I will admit that I struggled with understanding the pattern at the very start of this change, but once I got my head around it and understood what was happening, then it was fine. And then you do some double decreases, left leaning and right leaning decreases at the top. You obviously put stitches on hold for the thumb, and you just do the thumb in the half brioche pattern. I love these so much. They are the squishiest of squishy mittens. The pattern, all the pattern pictures have the mitten rolled up like that, and it looks really nice, but I think I would probably just wear it like that, to be honest. And let me show you the thumb gusset. That's just looks perfect, doesn't it? I mean, not the knitting, the design. It's so elegant and unfussy. I love it. And I mean, honestly, my hands are just, it's like being wrapped in a big brioche hug around your hands. I love it so much. So I've got the next one to cast on, which I will be doing very shortly, I think. I really like them. I'm really happy with my makes this week. Oh, knitting's great, isn't it? Knitting is brilliant. You can create something to wear from that. I love it. I love it. We're so clever, us knitters, being able to do that. Right, on to the next thing. I've been working on, so the last couple of weeks I focused on my Felix and the mittens. But I did have an urge, I think I said in the last episode, to knit on a sock, and I have done that. Let me show you. There's a few balls of yarn on the go here. Shall I go and, let me just go and grab a sock blocker. And I'll put the finished sock. Now, I didn't finish this sock in the last couple of weeks, but I worked on the second sock. But let me show you what we're talking about. So, I really like these. These are blowing out a bit. These are vanilla socks knit using one main skein of yarn, which is this. It's a very deep stash yarn from Yantan Tetherer Yarns, who used to be one of my absolute favourite dyers, but she doesn't dye anymore. I can't remember the colourway name because I have lost the ball band, I think. But it's sort of lovely blues and browns and pinks, and I think it was something to do, something coastally, but anyway. So I had 100-gram skein of that. I've still got, so that's, I split it into 250-gram balls. This one and this one. So I've still got loads left, and I'm nearly finished my second sock. But I'm knitting it using the helical knitting method. So to get a full pair of socks, I'm only using half the yarn, the main yarn that I need. So I'm sure most of you will be fully aware of what helical knitting is, but just in case, just in case you are not aware, helical knitting is where you use two colours of yarn, two balls of yarn, to create single stripes working round and round, and you don't get a jog. There's no, you can't see where the join is at all. It's really clever and I love the effect. I don't know how easy it is to see. I'm sat right by a window, so the light will probably disguise this. But I think I started off, well, I did start off with this sort of light, this sort of light, creamy, yellowy mini skein, and I knit it helically with the main skein up to the heel roughly, and then the leg, sorry, words failing today, the leg was knit with a more yellow skein and the main skein. You can tell, I don't know if you can tell the difference between the two minis on the camera, but I can tell here, but it doesn't bother me one little bit. It all looks like a cohesive sock. So anyway, my second sock, knit from the bottom. I've done a German short row heel, and I am maybe 3/4 of the way up the leg. I usually knit my socks cuff down, but this pair of socks I have really enjoyed knitting toe up. The reason I like knitting toe up, I think, is because you don't have to cast on as many stitches for the ribbing, which is, it's the one thing that puts me off knitting socks, casting on for the ribbing. So if you knit from the toe up, it's much less of a fuss, and I quite like doing the toe from a toe up cast on. Anyway, so other than the helical knitting, this is just my standard 60 stitch recipe. I knit about 68 rows. Oh, is that a drop stitch? No. I knit about 68 rows for the foot, German short row heel. I've just about got the heel memorised, but when I need to remind myself of what to do, I always go to a tutorial from Ellie of Craft House Magic on her channel. I find her explanations really straightforward, so I will link to that in the show notes. And then I'm going to do about 68-70 rows on the leg and go in for a 1x1 twisted rib. I cast off that using, I always forget the name of this, is it Jenny's? There's someone's magical cast on and someone's clever cast off, I can't quite remember, but I did that, I think, where you do a yarn over and then knit two together. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but I'll find the details and I will put that in my show notes, because it's a good cast off for socks. It gives a really neat finish. Anyway, so that's what I've been knitting on this last couple of weeks. The knitting I'm going to focus on for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to finish the sock. I am going to, I'm going to finish my mittens, of course, and I'm going to work on a cowl that I have got on the go. Let me show you this. I can't remember if I'm sure I've shown this on the podcast before. Oh, it's really striking, isn't it? So this is a litmus cowl that I'm knitting. Those colours just work beautifully together. Oh, I'll give another little shout out for my knitting this week. I'm so happy with it. I think that's, I said right at the beginning of the year, I'm going to try and knit quite sort of mindfully about things that I know I really want to wear and things that I need in my wardrobe. Did I say that? Maybe I didn't, maybe I'm imagining it, but that's what I'm doing this year. I wear a litmus cowl a lot, and in fact I've got a handful of them. I've got one full length litmus cowl. The litmus cowl is a pattern by Jude at Stranded Dye Works. You probably know that because it's a very well known pattern. But I've also got a couple of single loop cowls, litmus cowls. At the moment, while it's cold, I've been wearing the double loop cowl quite a lot, and this one is going to be a double loop cowl as well. Just very quickly, here's the yarn. Two absolutely gorgeous skeins from the very lovely Camilla at, Cami Jo Knits, Danish hand dyer and podcaster. I'll put all her details in the show notes. I absolutely love that yarn combination. Camera just cut out, which means I've been recording for about 25 minutes. I was just saying how much I love the yarn and the yarn combination. So I'm going to try and get a good chunk of this cowl knit up over the next couple of weeks, as well as my mittens and my sock. And the other thing that I'm going to do is swatch. I don't swatch very often, it has to be said, but I have got an itch in my head that needs scratching. The itch is that I've got about 5 or 6 balls of this. It's Isaya Alpaca 1, 100% alpaca. Colour is colour 16. It's beautiful. Oh, it's not going to focus, but you get the idea. It's a beautiful sort of French navy, coming up pretty true to colour on camera, I would say. Oops. I've had these in my stash for forever, and I really want to use it because it is the loveliest, softest of yarns. It's 100% alpaca. You get 400 metres to a 50 gram ball, so it's a lace weight. And I'm going to knit I'm going to try and knit a cumulus blouse out of this. So the cumulus blouse is by Petite Knit. It uses like mohair held double, I think. I'm going to hold 2 skeins of this double and see if I can get gauge, which is what I'm going to gauge swatch. See what the gauge is like at the called for needle size. I'm not sure if it'll work, because obviously mohair is a lot fluffier. Anyway, leave thoughts with me. I will come back next episode with my swatch all done, hopefully, and we'll talk more about that project then. So that's my plans for the next couple of weeks. Sock, mitten, cowl, swatch. That's a nice set of little projects to work on yeah, over the next couple of weeks. What else do I normally talk about? Books. But let me go and get a book, and then I will come back and tell you what I've been reading. So I finished reading Mrs. England a week or so ago. Mrs. England is a book by Stacey Halls. It's a sort of gothic Edwardian mystery about a Norland nanny, Ruby, who goes to work for a family up in Yorkshire who are mill owners, Mr. and Mrs. England, and their relationship is really strange. But you can't, I couldn't quite see through what was wrong until the very end. That I didn't get the twist, or whatever you call it. So it was, I really enjoyed it. I've read all of Stacey Hall's books. They're quite easy reads, but they're really interesting because they're historical fiction. And I've never really sort of read anything like them before, from I suppose the periods that they're set in and the subjects that are tackled. It's really interesting. So Mrs. England, I think I gave a 4 out of 5 star review on Goodreads. I think that's pretty accurate. I don't know if Stacey Hall has got any other books coming out, but I would definitely read them if she has. So that was a good one. When I finished that, I fancied something a little bit different. So I should say Mrs. England I read on my Kindle, so I don't have a hard copy to show you. But I went through my my to be read pile, and I have come up with this, In Your Defence. So it's a book written by Sarah Langford. She is a barrister, and this is a book of maybe 10, 11, 12 chapters, each with an individual story about one of the clients that she's represented. She says, these stories change the lives of ordinary people in extraordinary ways, but for a twist of luck they might have been yours. In 11 heart-stopping cases, Sarah describes what goes on in our family and criminal courts. She reveals what it's like to work in a world of archaic rituals and inaccessible language, and she explores what it means to be at its mercy. Our legal system promises us justice and fair judgment. Does it, can it deliver this? I used to work in the legal field in the NHS, so I've got a bit of a, what's the word? I've got an interest in the legal field anyway. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying the sort of the fly on the wall look at how the courts work and how the barristers work, rather than the stories of the individuals involved, although they are fascinating. But it's a non-fiction. She's obviously changed the names and some of the circumstances of her clients for privacy purposes, but yeah, really interesting. I'm that far through. Maybe I'll get this finished in the next couple of weeks, who knows. But yeah, it's a good, interesting read. I'm also listening to The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry on Audible. What a delight of a story that is. It was recommended to me by Gaynor, who is Tales from Cuckoo Land. I'm sure most of you know her. I was trying to decide on what to listen to next, and she suggested that. And I'm loving it. It's the story of Harold, who goes off on a quest to go and visit someone who lives hundreds and hundreds of miles away, and he decides to walk, and it's delightful. I will tell you more about it once I finish, but I couldn't be enjoying it more. I've had a really good run of Audible books recently. My last one was the John Boyne book, The Heart's Invisible Furies, and I'm equally as enjoying this one. So yeah, I've got a little way to go. I've got about 6 hours to go, so I'm sure I will have finished that by the next time I record. But yeah, really lovely, simple story, narrated by the wonderful Jim Broadbent. So if you know Jim Broadbent, you'll be able to hear it in your head, I'm sure. Yeah, so that's it from my book. What's been going on with my reading. The only thing left to tell you about is a little bit about shop update news. So I'm just going to go and get a couple of bags to show you, and I will be back. Okay, so a little bit of shop news. I have got a shop update coming up. I just check the date of it. It's going to be on the 7th of March at 7 p.m. for newsletter subscribers, and then it will be opened up more widely on Wednesday the 8th of March at 7 p.m. for everybody else. So if you're keen to get in early, then I highly recommend signing up for my newsletter, which you can do on my website, or there's a link in the show notes below. I've got 4 fabrics coming up in this shop update. 3 of them are repeatable, 1 of them is a one-off, and I have also got some sheep bags that will be available. I always do my shop updates as having a handful of ready to ship bags available, project bags, and then a number of made to order slots as well. And with the repeatable bags, with the repeatable fabrics, I have been regularly topping up the availability. So if they sell out, a couple of weeks later I will add some extra availability. Purpose of today though is to show you the fabrics that are coming up. I've got one of the ranges in all the fabrics to show you, and then I'll just show you the other fabrics in one of the bag styles. So I do, as standard, I do a notions pouch, an everyday pouch, a midi, an everyday project bag, a midi project bag, and a extra large project bag. So I will show you the different bag sizes in the root veg fabric. So that's the notions pouch. Hold it there, you can sort of get an idea of the size. This is it in the everyday project bag. So the everyday project bag is good for skeins that hold up to 2 projects that hold up to 2 skeins of yarn. I tend to use fabric that is sort of home decor weight fabric, so it's sturdy, it's going to last you a while, well, hopefully it'll last you forever, for as long as you need it. Really good quality fabric, which is one of my one of my key things when I'm choosing a fabric, is to make sure that the fabric is good quality. So yeah, I love this fabric so much. It's a Sophie Allport fabric, if you know her as a designer, with lots of different root veg on. This is it in the midi project bag size. And these are good for projects of up to about 5 skeins of yarn. I'm also offering, because they have been asked for by a few people, not many, but a few of you prefer a zip, so I have done them in a zip as well. And then the extra large is good. The extra large will hold 10 plus skeins of yarn. It's got a lovely deep box bottom there. My midi pouches and my extra large pouches all have pockets inside. I don't put pockets in the everyday size because they are sort of small enough to be able to find what you need. I don't actually use pockets at all. I don't know if other people do, but they're in there if you need them. So that's everything in the root veg fabric. That is a repeatable fabric. The other fabrics that I've got coming up, we've got some chickens laying their eggs. So that's available in all the sizes, including the zipped option. We have got another Orla Keeley colourway. So I do an Orla Keeley navy bag, and I thought, seeing as it's spring, let's bring a bit of sunshine in, and I'm either going to call this Orla Sunshine or Orla Mustard. So a lovely Orla Keeley print. That's going to be repeatable as well. The bag fabric that isn't repeatable, because I just can't find it anywhere now, is this one. Sort of a woodland, grey woodland forest print with owls and deer and leaves and butterflies and toadstools and foxes and hedgehogs, mice. Really cute. But I've just got a very limited number of bags. I think I bought 2 meters originally, and I've used it all up, so once they're gone, they're gone. There will also be sheep bags in the 1-face sheep and the 2-face sheep, in the midi size and the extra large size as standard. So that's everything that's coming up. Oh, there will be some new stitch markers as well. I've got them here to make some different stitch markers this time. I'll show those next time I record, hopefully. But yeah, so that's it. Shop update is on Tuesday the 7th of March at 7 PM for newsletter subscribers, and the following day for everyone else. I'll be talking about my shop update in my newsletter on Instagram, and there'll be details on my website as well. So if you're interested, check it out. It'd be lovely if you did. Right, that's all for today, I think. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with news of progress on everything that I've been making. Thank you ever so much for watching, and if you're new here, hello. It's really nice to have you here, and if you have come back for more of this, thank you ever so much. Drop me a comment below to let me know what you're working on while you're watching. I really enjoy reading your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, that would be really good. And I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Alright, take care, see you soon, bye.